Well, I don't know if you remember the Slenderman slayings, but I certainly do because it happened about 10 minutes from my house, maybe 15 minutes at most. It was a someone who was two friends who were 12 lured a sixth grade classmate into the woods during a sleepover where they proceeded to poke 19 holes in that individual. That individual miraculously survived. They crawled out of the woods and somehow a bicyclist found them and they survived, which is an act of God. They abandoned her, by the way. The girls then told detectives that they had to take the Lautner's life to become Slenderman's proxies. And they thought their character, because they thought their character was going to take their families if they did not comply. They were both, of course, charged in adult court with first-degree attempted intentional homicide. But things just got weird as the most famous face in the trial escaped. That's right, on the run. Fugitive Slenderman stabber Morgan Geyser snapped, "Just Google me," when asked for ID by cops who found her with a much older lover. So you might be asking, why isn't this individual in prison for life? Well, because Democrats, right? She had been in custody since she was arrested at age 12 following the attack on Lautner, in which she and her friend hatched a plot to perform ritualistic, this and that. The girls told detectives what I mentioned earlier. They're both charged in adult court. Wire had plead guilty to the lesser charge of attempted second-degree intentional as a party to the crime, but the jury found her not guilty by mental disease or defect in 2017. Geyser, who has schizophrenia, pled guilty to the first degree, but as a part of her plea deal, was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect in 2018. So neither of these girls went to prison. Just so we're clear. Thanks, Democrats. Thanks, Democrats in Wisconsin. Now, again, I get it. They're 12. I'm not sure what the heck, how you even deal with that, what the prescription is for that. But nonetheless, Waukesha County Circuit Court Judge Michael Bowen has since retired, has sent her to a psychiatric hospital for 40 years, a sentence which she only served 10 years of. So she was released 30 years early, and immediately escaped. Is anybody surprised? Bowen went against the wishes of prosecutors in January when he ruled that Geyser could be released and placed into a group home after 3 experts testified that she was making progress battling her mental illness. During the same hearing, Geyser also came out as, transgender. But female pronouns have continued to be used for court consistency, Dr. Brooke Ludbohm, who's psych evaluated Geyser, explained. At the time, Dr. Kenneth Robbins claimed that Geyser no longer had the psychosis symptoms that played a significant role in the attack that she committed. Ludbohm's treatment team came to the same conclusion. I think she was here experiencing transient psychotic symptoms, which is to say psychotic symptoms that did not persist and gradually went away. Or the intensity of her fantasies based on some trauma she had experienced were so intense that she believed them to be true. Well, what a coincidence. They found this individual with a much older man pretending to be a woman. But Geyser's symptoms were more closely aligned with PTSD, blah, blah, blah. One plan would have also seen Geyser move to a home just 8 miles away from her victim, sparking outrage from the family. They crumble as they crawl. This is a Slenderman thing, I guess. In March, state health officials argued that Geyser was in no condition to walk free from the institution after evidence emerged of an unsettling correspondence she was having with an older man called Jeffrey, who also sold murder memorabilia. The man first visited her in 2023. In their twisted correspondence, Geyser had sent him her own sketch of a decapitated body in a postcard saying she wanted to be intimate with him. The drawings were described as horror art. Jeffrey was reportedly selling the pieces that Geyser sent to him. Now, this, I don't know if you know, I don't know if you're like me, but this does not seem like somebody we should be setting free from prison. Just, my thought. The Madison Police Department said Sunday that it was not made aware of Geyser was even missing until 12 hours after she left the group home. So she gets into the group home. What does she immediately do? Cuts off her ankle monitor and immediately flees the state. But the story gets even more interesting. When cops finally found her in Illinois, a full state away, she told them to just Google her. Escaped Slenderman stabber Morgan Geyser refused to give her name when she was nabbed by cops after allegedly cutting off her ankle bracelet and fleeing her group home, telling them to just Google her because she had done something really bad. Geyser, 23, was picked up in Ponson, Illinois, 150 miles away from the Wisconsin group home, with a 42-year-old female accomplice who agreed to run away because she didn't want her to be alone. The adult accomplice was sleeping on a sidewalk with her best friend Geyser when they were found Sunday afternoon, more than a day after the notorious stabber cut off her ankle bracelet and bolted the home she'd been living since her release from a psychiatric facility back in March. The accomplice claimed that the two had taken a bus to Chicago before walking 20 miles south to Posen, where they were forced to stop walking when Geyser injured her foot. She said police told Geyser would be sent back to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute following her extradition hearing. They were arrested at 1 p.m. Sunday after officers responded to a report of two people loitering behind the truck stop and found the two sleeping on a sidewalk. Geyser initially gave police a false name and said she didn't want to tell the cops who she was because she had done something really bad. She said officers could just Google her to find out who she was. Police in Madison were not even made aware of it until 12 hours later. Look how, this is, again, why was this person set upon us? Democrats. This person should be, look, I'm not even against, it depends, it really, I'm not against life kind of in psychiatric care. This case, we kept her for 10 years. We kept her for 10 years out of 40, released 30 years early. Now, do I think she was going out to, commit more crimes? Well, I don't know that. But here are some more interesting things. We knew it. There had to be a, quote, trusted adult grooming her. Morgan Geyser, the Slenderman stabber, appeared to be living with a trans-identified male at a home in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, after her release from mental institution. Morgan was found this morning in Illinois after she cut off her ankle monitor. Here you go. Living with a biological man pretending to be a woman. My daughter went missing from her group home in Madison, Wisconsin this morning. She was last seen with the person in the fourth picture, a biological man pretending to be a woman. Clearly, Charlie, if you see Morgan, please call the police. Morgan, if you see this, we love you and just want to know that you're safe. This post is public. Please share. So she got groomed into running away with a 40-year-old adult man. I don't know how she is at this time. The lawyer's statement about his worries for Geyser being released. The lawyer for Geyser, no less, made it even worse in my mind that she was released early from a psych institute. Well, we released this person 30 years early. And by the way, the New York Post said it was a woman they were found with. Wrong. It's a biological man. They were found with a biological man, okay, and who was probably, well, it appeared to be at least grooming them into this escape. Spooky stuff because Waukesha's 10 minutes from my house. Do I think that this individual is going to, commit more crimes or whatever the case may be? No, not really. I don't think so. But, when you get 40 years in prison for, putting 19 holes in somebody, I think you should serve 40 years. Even if it's just a psychiatric facility, that's where you're supposed to stay. Geyser fled within her older boyfriend was fled around 8 p.m. Saturday, and they got his older boyfriend. It's funny. This is just Mental health is obviously a real issue in this town, in this world. This individual, you know, experts tell Court Geyser should not be free from a secure hospital. Look at this. I mean, they have this person shackled for a reason.
Then raise your right hand.
Have you ever come to the conclusion that Ms. Geyser is appropriate for conditional release currently?
I have not.
Okay.
Talking in the hallway, the cameras are still recording, so it picks up on the live stream. In the hallway. Yeah, so like when you're talking to Collins, like it's being picked up on the live stream, so you know.
Yeah.
Does Ms. Geyser think it's possible that she will decompensate into a psychotic state at this point in time?
She denies that, in part because she denies ever experiencing psychotic spectrum symptoms ever in her life.
Does that make Ms. Geyser a danger
Female
to the
judge.
community?
What is very concerning to me is that the contradiction of her self-report compared to years worth of data.
Dr. Collins, come forward. You have a seat behind the court reporter.
Well, female
when you
lawyer,
step
male
up, they'll
judge.
see standing, raise your right hand.
Correct.
Our clerk will,
Correction.
you can step up. Our clerk.
So we have experts saying that they should not be released. They release her 30 years early, immediately escapes with a trans boyfriend. What a coincidence. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.